Greetings to all of you, Patna, Bihar. I'm here on the behalf of the Secretary Disaster Management Department to present about the initiative which is Aapda Sampurti Portal. As the name it is displayed here, it is a technology-led initiative which has led to transparency and accountability in the direct benefit transfer to disaster-affected people in the state of Bihar. So as it is known to most of you, Bihar is a multi-disaster prone state where disasters like floods, drought, lightning, and other kinds of disasters wreak havoc in the state of Bihar, which eventually causes great loss of life and property. And among all these disasters, floods are the most devastating one. There is sufficient evidence available where Bihar has been witnessing recurring floods causing huge loss of life and property in the state. There is a statistics available that in the country, whatever the flood-prone area that is there, out of that, 70% of that area lies in the state of Bihar. This is a map displaying the river system in the state of Bihar, how there are various kinds of river that cross the state, and eventually these rivers also lead to floods. Like in the year 2019 and 2020, the area crop damage that happened due to floods was 357,000 hectares, and in 2020 it was 17,000 hectares. Which, and hence there is an urgent need that the department, especially the disaster management department, should be taking up sufficient innovative measures to reduce the risk of or the negative effects of floods on human lives and property in the state. The one initiative that the department has been taking for quite many years earlier was distributing dry rations, fodder, polythene, things like that, which are of very much basic use for the people in those areas which are flood affected. Then there has been a provision of gratuitous relief to aid the people with financial support, which is like rupees 6,000 per family in case of floods or other disasters. So the GR were earlier distributed through cash, which was of course a very tedious process leading to a lot of human interventions. So the Gram Panchayat level officials were responsible for distributing the GRs, and in case of floods, it was really difficult to organize camps where people would come and eventually take the GRs that is meant to help them, because most of the areas get submerged in case of floods, and it eventually becomes very difficult for people to commute from one place to another place. And hence the GR distribution was eventually involving a lot of manual intervention. Sometimes people were not able to come, the ground level staff has to visit them, that is among the flood waters, and that also lead to delays because of floods. The GR which was meant to reach the people would sometimes getting delayed in reaching on to the ultimate beneficiary. So eventually the department then from switched on to real-time raw settlements, which was happening through the bank accounts of the beneficiary. But again, in this, there were a lot of manual interventions required. Like if sometime the bank account details are not mentioned properly or rightly, the GR payment would fail, and it would again require a manual intervention, visiting the people and verifying that what happened. And sometimes the bank was also not able to update the department in time that these are the payments which didn't go through and it has failed. So again, a lot of lack of cross verification mechanism was involved, and inactive bank account of the beneficiary was also sometimes like these people, they are poor people and they are not regularly using their bank accounts. So if they have not been transacted through the bank accounts for a sufficient period of time, the bank account becomes inactive, and that was also resulting in failing of payment of GR to this beneficiary people. Like sometimes the details are wrong or the IFSC code is wrong or something like that. And then again, it was a cumbersome and time-consuming process. So eventually the department developed a portal, which was a technology-led initiative called Aapda Sampurti portal. So the portal was, in fact, this portal led to a paradigm shift in the perspective of the department, which was rather from mere disaster response to disaster preparedness, because much before the disasters happen, because it is a known phenomenon here that June, July are the month when rains would happen and the areas would get flooded. So the department starts their activities right there in the month of March, April itself, where they start verifying these details, collecting these details from the ground, from the people, like the ground level officials who are there at the ground panchayat level, block level. They have been given the task or the mandate to verify, to collect these details and verify also. So the main verifying portal is there at the block level, which eventually passes it on to the district level, where they again verify it, and the details are logged and fed onto the NIC portal, which ultimately gets logged and eventually becomes the basis for making the GR payments to the people at the time of disasters. Like, first of all, it is absolutely a decentralized process where ward level committees, the panchayat level monitoring committees are the main bodies who are responsible for collating and verifying the data. And all the entry that is happening for the Aapda Sampurti portal about the beneficiary details is happening at the block level mostly, so that people can access that and get the details verified in case they have submitted any wrong detail or there is a change or something like that. Like many times people mobile numbers get changed at the ground level because they are not able to use the same number for a long time. So such minute details also get captured because the provision of entry of the data at the block level. Then the district level verification is done by the additional district magistrate, who is also in charge of the disaster management at the district level. Then the Sampurti Help has been set up at the NIC Patna office, where in case there is some block level official want to change the data or something is there, that can also be addressed through the NIC Help that has been set up at the Patna headquarters. So this Aapda Sampurti portal, because of the use of technology, has been of a great help to the disaster management department in providing this support, much needed support of GR to the people in time, because timely availability of support is very, very critical for the disaster affected people. This is some statistics of the number of families and the GR amount that has been disbursed right from when the initiative was started in 2019. The complete Aapda Sampurti portal, 2019, 2020, and 2021. The very unique or the innovative elements of the Aapda Sampurti portal is that, very exhaustive and granular capturing and availability of data which is available in the Aapda Sampurti portal. And of course, it has led to a lot of transparency. Many times, we all know that people also face difficulty in accessing the officials, that this data has to be changed or all that. So this is available in the public domain and can be verified that this much beneficiary data is available, this much has been updated. So the transparency has become a very important advantage point of the Aapda Sampurti portal. Then there is a tracing mechanism available, like the data entry points are defined at block level, district level, and then at the Patna headquarters. So wherever the data change has happened, it can be traced back where the data has been changed. So the tracing mechanism is again ensuring the accountability that where the problem has occurred. So transparency and accountability, when we talk about the e-governance and effective governance, good governance, these are the two very important indicators. So the Aapda Sampurti portal initiative has led to the transparency and accountability, in disbursing of the GR payments to the disaster affected people in the state of Bihar. And of course, a lot of time saving because there is minimal manual intervention. Earlier, the camps were organized, people used to come or the official has to visit the people so that the GR checks could be given to these people. But now with this integrated portal that is available, the payment directly goes into the bank accounts of the beneficiary, and at their convenience, they can access the money which is available for them. So again, coming back to the innovation, to address the issues faced in dispersing the GR to the disaster affected people, the disaster management department has very nicely taken the recourse to the technology, which is now available as Aapda Sampurti portal, and which we also call as ASP, which is an integrated management information system for disaster compensation disbursement. Like so many times people, The manual intervention which is there can be reduced with the help of technology. And similarly, the disaster management department has taken recourse to this technology, which has led to a lot of facilitation for not just for the department in dispersing the GR payment, but also for the people, for whom it is available with transparency and ensuring accountability and convenience. Innovation of ASP has transformed the activity of GR transfer from absolute disaster response to disaster preparedness, because now the activity starts much before, and it is not merely that once the disaster has happened, now it is there that the GR payment has to be made to the people. So with the use of technology, it has changed led the perspective change from disaster response to disaster preparedness. And of course, it is highly participatory with a bottom-up approach, which ensures correctness of information, accuracy of information fed into the system of ASP. Talking about the way ahead, because of this technology-led initiative, the GR payment has become very effective and convenient for the people. And the idea is, starting from 2019, like even for COVID-19 pandemic disbursement, it happened through the ASP portal. And eventually the idea is, so whatever the payment has to be released or the benefit has to be transferred to the disaster affected people in the state, the Abda Sampurti portal would eventually become one comprehensive MIS, which would facilitate in disbursing all kind of benefits to the people in the state eventually. So that's the way ahead for the Abda Sampurti portal. And there are many new features that are being added into the portal. So that's all about the Abda Sampurti portal initiative of the Disaster Management Department, Government of Bihar, which is of help to the people, disaster affected people in this state. Thank you.
Jury members. Ma'am, thank you very much. Very good project. Can you just tell us about the feedback of users? How they appreciate it? Still they feel some problem? Because during disasters like flood situation and all that, they need prompt help. What is the user's feedback?
Yeah, thank you, sir, for asking me that question, because I missed to add that point in the presentation. We have also captured a write-up about the initiative, which we also submitted for the SKOCH Awards. In that write-up, you can read that we have covered few beneficiary, and the beneficiary are also very happy, because eventually, like, there was one issue with the bank account accessibility is like the rural branch bank network is not so strong. But eventually in the state, the rural branch network has also increased, because now in almost every Gram Panchayat, there is a customer support point available. So people are really happy about this initiative, because they need not visit anywhere. And most of the time when the floods happen, people are not able to commute because the conveyance get blocked. So it has been of real help to the people and timely availability of the benefit to the people. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, please.
Ma'am, so far as I understand, your project is only to capture beneficiaries in the state, and some of the beneficiaries who are not traceable, you are trying to delete them, and you are trying to add some of the new beneficiaries. Except that, what is innovative in your project? Just explain that.
Yeah, thank you, sir, again for that question, because I didn't mention that part, that the data is captured and eventually the payment starts from the disaster management department. Like first the one, like the block.
Madam, that is clear to me. The moment flood is there, you start transferring subsidy or the benefit in monetary terms to the beneficiaries. Am I right?
Yeah, so it all happens through the portal. Like earlier, what was happening is,
okay, I get that. Now instantly the money can be transferred to their accounts, right? But what this means, everybody is getting the same amount of money.
Yeah, as of now.
So what is the point if somebody's loss is say X rupees and somebody's loss is Y rupees? So your system will not capture that.
Sir, yes, that's again a very valid point. Like earlier, what the department was doing, providing dry ration and things like that. it is in replacement of that, where a GR amount of 6,000 per family is
I have seen in your project presentation. So this means everybody is getting some amount irrespective of whatever the damage is there.
So may I just add that this is not including the crop damage and things like that. This is only a GR amount which is meant for the family in replacement of the dry ration that was being provided. The crop damage and other things are separate.
Okay.
This
Okay,
is only for the, yeah.
So does your system captures BPL, APL like that?
I'd say it captures everybody, all those people who gets affected by disaster. And there are like data available, like who are SC,
No, no, that is correct. I just, if somebody is very rich person, do he requires to get this type of subsidy?
So like in the state, the policy states that disaster affected people, they all get that amount.
Okay.
In that area, whoever are there.
Okay, okay. So nice. Thank you very much.
Again, greetings to all of you from Patna. So I'm here to present yet another initiative of the Disaster Management Department, Government of Bihar, which is about Community Kitchen Initiative. And it is again to benefit the disaster affected people. Like one thing that happens when...
Mohit, I cannot hear you.
Sir, can you
Thank you.
you can continue, ma'am.
So as I mentioned, this is another initiative of the Disaster Management Department, which is Community Kitchen Initiative, again to benefit the disaster affected people in the state. One thing which happens at the time of disaster is there are issues of food availability, accessibility, and utilization. So this initiative is to address the issues regarding food for the disaster affected people in the state. So just to give you again a brief overview of the disaster in the state of Bihar. Bihar floods are again one of the most devastating disasters that happen in the state. 70% of the area which is there in the northern part of the state is again prone to floods. And out of 28 districts which are flood prone, 15 districts are severely flood prone. So, and as I mentioned, 17% of the total flood affected area which is there in the country falls in the state of Bihar. So in the year 2019, the estimated crop damage was to the tune of 7,278 million, and more than 10 million people were affected. Similarly, in the year 2021, 15 million people got affected, and more than 1 million hectare area of crop was damaged. So like I mentioned earlier, food security, in terms of availability of food, accessibility to food, and utilization of food gets affected during floods. Eventually, there is one thing that is known to everyone is like when floods happen, people are shifted from their place of residence to the safe shelters. But eventually it was witnessed in the state that, people are many times not willing to leave their homes, because they create those houses with their hard-earned money, and they just sometimes deny that we are not really willing to shift to the shelter homes. And even if they shift to shelter homes, there are issues regarding food availability that was observed. So in order to address those things, those issues, the initiative of community kitchen was started. So like availability and access to food gets severely constrained. Like I mentioned, even though people are there in their houses, they move to the top floors. So the food sometimes which is stored on the ground floor gets either damaged, or there is not enough fuel that is available in the household so that they can cook the food, on a regular basis. So not the hot meal which is generally required for every human being on a daily basis, sometimes, many times get constrained in case of floods. So that's how food accessibility and availability becomes questionable for the people who are stuck in disasters like flood. The supply chain, because the road and rail networks get affected, the regular supply of food that is happening in those areas gets affected. And even if there is maybe a nearby ration shop that would be available, maybe enough stock is not available with the shop so that they can buy at a regular basis. And even if they because they are there in the flood areas, they are not able to move from their houses out to the shops so that they can buy ration for them. So these issues become very prominent in case of floods. So food stored in homes, they get damaged. Fuel availability is not there, and cooking in wet conditions also becomes a very difficult option in those times. Like this was just a picture displays showing how SDRF and others, they move people to safe locations in case of floods. So, provision of dry ration packets has been available through the disaster management department for quite so many years for the people. But then it becomes difficult for people when the flood waters are there in the areas for 10 days, 15 days, how somebody can really survive just on dry ration. Like sattus were provided, churas were provided, gur was provided, chana provide kiya jata tha. But, just imagine a person who has to eat dry food on a daily basis, like sattu, chuda, or things like that. So it was really difficult for the people to survive with that food that was available as dry rations. So, if we eventually posing a question mark on the food security for these people. And these handful of puffed rice or roasted gram that was available was not really sufficient for the people to survive, in those difficult periods that was there. The dry ration was really a lifesaver, but not, really tasty enough or nutritionally supportive enough for the people. And a very important thing is it was not psychologically or emotionally satisfying enough for the people. So, and even in COVID-19 times, such issues were realized. So this initiative, which is started in the year 2016 in the district, which is very close to a place called Patna Bakhtiyarpur, has been of very much help to the disaster-affected people in the state, and even during COVID-19 pandemic times, which is now labeled as community kitchen. It is an initiative which was started by the disaster management department for the people and with the people eventually, because the department has been taking consultation, has been consulting people in setting up these community kitchens in the location. Earlier, the initiative was started at the block level, which eventually getting penetrated at the Gram Panchayat level and the village level. And in this, the consultation starts with the people itself. Like where should, in case of disaster, what would be the ideal location which would be high flood level, above the high flood levels, and where this community kitchen initiative would be set up in this village or in this Gram Panchayat. So the decision is taken in consultation with the people, where they decide that this school would remain safe even if the flood levels are to the highest level of the past that has occurred. So they decide that this school or this building that is available would be the safest location to set up the community kitchen. And the people themselves volunteer, like the Jivika Didis take part in that, the Ashoka worker or the health workers, or even the people who are there in the community, they come forward and take part in this, more so on the volunteer basis in setting up these community kitchens. And I know this is primarily to address, because as I mentioned, in flood times, people can't really survive on the basis of dry rations which are available. Everybody needs, hot cooked meal on a daily basis. So this initiative has made that possible for the people who are stuck in case of disasters like flood. And thus, earlier when the initiative was started, the one menu that was served was khichdi. But eventually it got transformed into, full plate meal, like with the option of dal, chawal, rice, chawal, sabji, and many other things, which are again, most of these things may be locally available or locally pulled from the resources which are available. So nutritious food availability and accessibility ensured at the nearest possible local point for the disaster affected people. It is again a highly inclusive and participatory approach for the community and with the community, as I mentioned. The first pilot was done in in the place called Bakhtiyarpur, which is close to Patna, and again it had floods in 2016, where this first initiative was done, and eventually it got spread across the state of Bihar to benefit the disaster affected people, with the encouraging feedback and support of the community that was available. This is again definitely a very strategic initiative to benefit the disaster affected people. In case of setting up the community kitchen, the site selection, as I mentioned, is a very, very critical indicator. So the people, they discuss, and that's how it is decided that these are the high flood levels in this locality, and this would be the ideal location for setting up the community kitchen. And cooking food, serving it, cleaning up, and all are done with the help of volunteers from the disaster-affected villages in a highly participatory approach. There, eventually, the department has also set up a remuneration, which is like 400 per day for those people who assist in the community kitchen initiative at the local level. So this eventually provides some kind of livelihood also to those people who take part in the community kitchen initiative. This is just one picture where these are there and helping in supporting, setting up the community kitchen and serving the food. Then provisioning for the kitchens, that how the food would be available on a regular basis. So first point is, of course, the public distribution system network, which is of help in supporting the community kitchen initiative, through which subsidized staple rice and wheat, things like that are made available for these community kitchens. And whenever needed, the local vendors are also roped in to provide the necessary supplies for constantly running the community kitchen initiative. And of course, it is, like as I mentioned earlier, it was at block level, which eventually get decentralized at the village level and the Gram Panchayat level to benefit more and more people and eventually become more inclusive. Special attention is being paid that the food is being maintained and served in a hygienic manner, and there should be aspects, that nutritional aspect, cultural aspect should be taken care of in these community kitchens. The mostly vegetarian food is, only vegetarian food is served in these community kitchen, which are during the flood times. The menu, as I mentioned earlier, it was started with khichdi. Now there is more elaborate and complete thali meal that is available for the people. And this ensures good nutrition and home style, of course. Like Bihar has a certain style of cooking, which kind of food only is served in these community kitchens, because the community, they themselves, take part in preparing the meal, serving the meal. So cooked rice, lentil, vegetables are normally served in the community kitchen as a hot cooked meal. Even in the time of pandemic, when lakhs of migrants came back to the state, this community kitchen initiative was of great help to these people. And the disaster management department took recourse to that, and this was very much appreciated also in those times. Eventually, it was realized that how many people are eating. There should be proper record maintenance, documentation of these initiatives, which the department has been duly ensuring. Like there is a facility to register the name, record the names, details of these people who are eating into the community kitchen on a daily basis. There is one person who is dedicated.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. You have like another 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll just finish. I finished the earlier one very early. Yeah, so these are just like, this is one how the community kitchen, the meal is served in the community kitchen initiative at the local level. Then eventually the department realized that monitoring is also a very important aspect, which like the CM himself has been visiting and monitoring the community kitchen initiative. And eventually the department again has taken recourse to technology, which is GIS. So all these community kitchens which are being run, they are GIS mapped, and a portal is available where one can see that where all these community kitchens are working, functional, and on telephone basis, the daily data is also captured through this community kitchen initiative. Like this is just the GIS map location of the community kitchen initiatives. That is one another thing the department has integrated in it. This is another glance of like how many community kitchens were run, how many people have been benefited during floods of 2017, 19, COVID-19 pandemic times, and so on. Coming to the innovative element of the community kitchen initiative and the way forward. Like in the year 2021, 153.56 crores was spent on the community kitchen initiative, and the idea is that based on the disasters, it can be used for any double emergency situation that arises. And the idea is that it should be decentralized further to make it more inclusive and to benefit more and more people. So as I mentioned in the beginning, there is issues regarding availability, accessibility, and utilization of food, which has got addressed through the initiative of community kitchen. It is highly inclusive and participatory because it is done for the community and with the community. And of course, there is an element of environmental sustainability, which is also taken care in the community kitchen initiative, because no disposables are used to serve or cook the meal in case of community kitchen initiative. It is only stainless steel utensils which are maintained there. And of course, eventually the department is taking recourse to GIS-based mapping for effective monitoring and maintaining the transparency and accountability. So it has definitely led to a paradigm shift in the perspective from mere disaster response to preparedness. Thank you.
Jury
Thank
members.
you, ma'am. In fact, this is a very humanitarian aid your department is providing. I have no specific question to ask. Thank you, please.
Ma'am, very good presentation as far as streamlining the food distribution system in case of flood. But it is not clear to me in both of your presentation, disaster management को स्टॉप करने के लिए आपके डिपार्टमेंट ने क्या काम किया? ये दो एक्टिविटी तो आपकी सब्सिडरी एक्टिविटीज हैं कि अगर डिजास्टर हो गया तो हमारे को क्या करना है? आपको कुछ फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट देना है लोगों को या उनको फूड देना है जो रेडी टू ईट फूड है? तो shall we consider it as के डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट के नाम पर आपने ये दो एक्टिविटीज स्टार्ट की हैं और डिजास्टर को रोकने के लिए कोई एक्टिविटी स्टार्ट नहीं की है?
Yeah, so that's again a very valid point. Like, if we talk about disaster mitigation, there are also initiatives the department has been taking up. So, but in case of natural disasters like flood, lightning, drought, there are certain things like as we study in disaster management, you can minimize the disaster, but you can't really reduce the disaster. So this is taking care of that aspect because the disaster can't be, brought to zero, absolute zero. So these initiatives have been appreciated by people, and that's how these are here, because this has been of help to the people in case of disaster times. Talking about mitigation, of course, there are a lot of initiatives that the department has taken up to mitigate the disaster. Like I'll just mention one.
No, ma'am, don't, because your presentation is focused only on these two aspects. So I was just thinking that instead of making presentation that you have streamlined this process by way of doing X or Y activities, it would have been better if you would have taken that in future, in say in 4 or 5 years, after 4 or 5 years, flood-like situation will never happen in Bihar. So
So like as I mentioned, in disaster management cycle, we talk about preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. So this is talking about the preparedness aspect. Obviously, we have everything about mitigation also, response also, and recovery also.
Okay,
So
in that area also you are working.
Yeah, of course, sir. So this is about that preparedness aspect of the disaster management cycle. And of course, we never wish that the flood should happen, but there are some things which are beyond our control.
Okay,
if it happens, these things are there which are of aid to the people in case of disasters.
Okay, ma'am. ये बेटर नहीं होता कि जैसे डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट जो आपका सेल है वही खाना बनाने के लिए एक्टिविटीज को स्टार्ट कर रहा है और उसकी जो डाटाबेस रखना है, सब्सिडी का ध्यान रखना है, तो अगर ये आउटसोर्स कर देते तो आप लोग अपनी जो मेन कोर एक्टिविटी है उसके अंदर में ज्यादा ध्यान दे पाते। अब तो आप ये छोटी छोटी एक्टिविटीज के अंदर में इन्वॉल्व हो गए।
Yeah, sir, this is not really done by the department. The initiative was there, but it is being managed at the local level, as I mentioned. The entire thing is streamlined in a way that people, the Gram Panchayat, the elected representative, they themselves take care of these aspects.
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता है। सरकारी सिस्टम के अंदर में अगर पैसा आपके थ्रू जा रहा है तो आपको भी कुछ एक्टिविटीज करनी पड़ती हैं ताकि पैसा जो है बेकार में यूज ना हो।
Absolutely. Monitoring and supervision is done by the department.
तो मॉनिटरिंग या सुपरविजन तो आप ही कर रहे होंगे, तो आपका जो ध्यान डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट से हटके शायद इन एक्टिविटीज में ज्यादा चला गया हो।
So like as I mentioned, disaster management, there are 4 phases: preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. So obviously department is taking care of all the 4 aspects, but this one is about preparedness.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. I got it. Thank you.
Anganwadi centers. A brief overview: the Department of Promotion and Industries and Internal Trade formulated National Action Plan for toys in line with Honorable Prime Minister's vision to make India a global toy manufacturing hub. Along with other 14 ministry and departments, MWCD also being a part of it has requested states to procurement of non-toxic indigenous toys to Anganwadi centers. Further, under the banner of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, Ministry has requested states to promote prepare toys on state culture, folk heroes, freedom fighters, and historical figures, eminent historical figures, etc., and develop repository on toys using eco-friendly, indigenous, non-hazardous material. And for that, guidelines also issued for us. Then, on above, Directorate of Women and Child Development Assam also initiate the Do-It-Yourself Toys Kit project under the directives of MWCD. Play is an essential part of child lives and also a key to child's learning. Utilization of toys in early years and in early childhood education ensures holistic development of the child through early play-based stimulation. Toys and games have existed in every tradition and culture since human civilization. Assam also has a rich tradition and culture and various forms of toys, games, and stories which formed the basis of play for children in early years. But gradually, with modernization, those toys and games have seemed to lose their existence. Therefore, it is an effort to develop state-specific do-it-yourself DIY toys kits with the help of community participation therein that will help to revive those traditional toys for holistic development of children during early years of life. The Anganwadi centers being the epicenter to provide ECCE or preschool education to children of 3 to 6 years across the state, an attempt is being made to develop state-specific DIY toys that can be used in early childhood education to support their learning. The project objectives are to develop a repository of state-specific DIY toys. We have many toys around the states, so we are going to prepare a repository in our state directorate with the banner or with the nomenclature as Lorali Dhemali. Then the next is integrate those toys, games, and stories in providing preschool education in AWCs. Promote toy-based pedagogy in Anganwadi centers where children learn through toys and games. Then enhance participation of community parents, grandparents in creation of toys for children. Thereby, we are asking parents to come to our AWCs and they will prepare the toys, and along with they will keep the toys in the AWCs and they will help the children from the toys and thereby with the story by telling stories and other likes. How we are going, we have already gone through the process. This is under process, and methods already we have used are at the first step, the with NIPSID, Guwahati, and UNICEF, we have our directorate have a plan discuss about the plan for implementation. Then the Anganwadi centers across the state celebrates ECC Day on 19th of every month. The state has issued guidelines. We have issued guidelines to our CDPOs and the ICDS functionaries to celebrate ECC Day on 19th, and then on 19th itself for August and September, as we are focusing on during the ECC Day, we used to discuss on some topics. So on that day, we asked them for August and September, we give them this topic on discuss on toys, making of toys from their indigenous toys. So people, community peoples were discussed how they play in their childhood and how can they make them. And for September's, it is do it yourself. Means in like demonstration, they are preparing their toys in AWC itself. Then a specific toys they used for children to learn, to teach them for to grow their to inculcate positive behavior and moral value also. Then documentation of the toys from each district in a prepared format as given by the, so we have given to them some format so that they have submitted some what they made during the at the last of the session. The state has also organized toy making workshop for Anganwadi workers in 3 districts of Assam, namely Majuli, Sibsagar, and Jorhat. Toys such as puppet, face masks, clay toys, paper toys, etc. were taught that can be used in ECC. We have already organized 3 workshops in the district Majuli, because Majuli is a district, we know it is there. We used to there they have the mukha production and with locally available materials, indigenous materials, and so we have selected this district and there we have organized a workshop, and we even in Sibsagar also because this is a kingdom of Ahom dynasty. So, and for Jorhat district also we organized workshop and to prepare the puppets, face masks, clay toys, and such. Then the state is also planning to document those in the repository with detailed compilation of materials used and process of making so that it can be replicated or created at central level across the state. And this is our vision. Will prepare the will collect the toys and prepare repository, and this was also given in the guideline also. So we are going to submit a repository very soon. Then toy making workshop on creation of DIY toys. The Directorate of Women and Child Development organized 3-day creation workshop. Already I have told. And Anganwadi workers on developing do-it-yourself toys to be used in ECC in Anganwadi centers in 3 districts of Assam. There are some pictures where we have given organized workshop, and Anganwadi workers were involved in making the toys out of waste papers and clays, etc. This is the pictures of Majuli district, also some pictures of Sibsagar districts. Local resource persons were also invited to take session on toy making and storytelling also, because they can tell some stories regarding that mythological stories, then the eminent persons and all. So where that local person were invited to tell stories to Anganwadi workers and teach them how to tell a story so that they can speak to the children, and that is very important for children also. Further, after receiving training, the Anganwadi workers, they organized toy making session in their sector level. We are planning that the Anganwadi workers will teach the Anganwadi workers in the workshop itself, and we are planning to have this workshop in entire state of Assam also. So all the workers, and as a pilot basis, we have done it in the 3 districts. Then all the workers will go and teach other workers and the parents and community and the children also, so that they can involve themselves, they can learn by doing. Region-specific toys such as face masks of Majuli, storytelling on stories of the Ahom period, focusing the local heroes such as Sukafa and Lasit Borkman also were given more emphasis. Challenges. While initiating the process, we have some difficulties because we have to explain the community and the persons about toy making process, how it is going to be useful for them and for child lives. But besides, some community mostly they want more they give emphasis on decorative items rather than the items functional or educational. So it was our difficulties, but we are overcome all these we have planned and discussed with parents and communities and also with organody workers, and we have done the workshop successfully. Then future roadmaps, the state is planning to select best toys from, we have 230 ICDS projects in our state. So on ECC Day celebration, they will create toy hub in the state. From we are collecting toys from 230 ICDS projects we have. So from them we are going to collect. Then creation of toy hubs at each Anganwadi centers of the states, and that will be also under the nomenclature as Lorali Themali. Then community participation will be enhanced in carrying out ECC activities on Anganwadi centers. To achieve the same, convergence can be done with other states department, counterparts, line departments, communities to develop more local toys to be used in Anganwadi centers. Other than this, we have some in our departments. We have we are generally deals with the children below above 18 years old, above I mean below 18 years also. So we have some observation homes where we are the children are kept for reformation. So we are planning to have there also some workshop, so that already they have the existing some methods of rehab as a rehabilitation process, there's clay model, and so we are going to teach them on puppet making and other toy making process, so that they can rehabilitate themselves by using this, by learning this, and after they're going from the observation home, they can help the people and in their community, in their native, to teach those to the people, and thereby our children will be get benefited. The state repository will be shared with Women and Child Development Karnataka as per the guideline the ministry as desired. These are the some pictures about traditional toys of Assam: cloth toys, toys resembling bihu, clay toys, husking paddle, traditional handloom, traditional fishing implements, etc. Face masks, these are face masks prepared out of papers only, and we do have with bamboos and other clay, cow dung, etc. also, but these are out of papers. Number cards. Then these are the photos, pictures regarding the workshops already we have done at various districts. I have mentioned Majuli, Sibsagar, and Jorhat districts. Trained personnel were invited to teach them on this toy making process. These are the toys, puppets, and these are models of out of clay. And this is one eminent person at Majuli. This is a retired principal. She came and teach our Anganwadi worker how to teach the stories by using such models and mukhas and models of eminent person and all. Thank
Jury
you.
members.
Thank you very much.
Excellent effort, madam. I think this is a very good initiative, as the toys which you are showing are environment friendly compared to the toys available in the market. Moreover, do it yourself will also increase the creativity of the kids. Excellent work. Thank you, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. No specific question to ask. Very noble work.
Thank you.
Managing Director of the West Bengal State Handloom Weavers Cooperative Society, popularly known as Tontuja, under the Department of MSME and Textile, Government of West Bengal. Today, I would like to share the project named Supply of Fabric for School Uniform for one course children from pre-primary to class 8 of West Bengal. Our project conception and brief is this: just to revitalize the powerloom sector of the state since early 2021, the government of West Bengal entrusted the Department of MSME and Textile to procure approximately 5.5 crore meter of polyester viscose fabric for stitching school uniform for students of pre-primary to class 8. The department also mandated this tontuja for distribution of PV yarn made by the power loom rapier type of machines in West Bengal for manufacturing of various fabric like shorting, shooting, salwar, dupatta for the students. Now, project review. It is, it is a part of Samugra Shiksha Abhijan of the government of India, and every state distributes school uniform from pre-primary to class 8 students of government-aided school. So the Department of MSME and Textile, Government of West Bengal, has taken up the project for school uniform fabric. Tentative number of students to be covered, that is about 1.17 crore. And technical support was given by the Director of Textile, Government of West Bengal. And Tontuja, this is an apex cooperative society which deals with manufacturing of handloom products and allied textile materials in West Bengal for implementing this project. First of all, we have to procure dyed yarn to provide this yarn to the power loom units of the state to make fabric. Secondly, getting the fabric woven from the weavers as well as the procurement woven fabric external. Here the one point is to add here. This is the first year the government has taken this initiative, so the infrastructure was not up to the mark. I mean, not to produce the entire quantity of fabric. That's why certain quantity of fabric we have to procure externally through e-tender process. Lastly, delivering these fabrics to the respective district magistrate or central offices of the district. Lastly, the fabric was sent to self-help group in the district level. Though those self-help groups were entrusted to take measurement of the students of the schools and to prepare uniforms of the students from PP to class A. Here, in this pictorial flow chart, we have shown it: dyed yarn to woven fabric to uniform. Nextly, procurement of dyed yarn, either from government spinning mills, those are still running in the state, and this yarn delivery of yarn to the power loom weavers already in existence. Next phase, fabric weaving and finishing in the state. Lastly, fabric delivery to the district offices or in the DM's office. In the last phase, this fabric was distributed to the self-help groups which were tagged with each and every school. About 82,000 schools are in West Bengal. So 82,000 self-help groups were tagged to each and every school in the state. So fabric given to self-help group. The self-help group then used to make pattern, cutting, then stitching of fabric, and lastly, distribution to the respective school. Say, initially self-help groups were not trained, and before this project, uniforms were not distributed directly to the students by the government organizations or through government. Fund was placed with the respective schools. Headmaster of the school used to procure uniform. But in this case, this is the centralized process, and first of all, self-help groups were trained. Based on trial basis, it was observed that the self-help groups lack of training because they were not engaged in such a work. Self-help group members required guidance also in pattern making, arrangement of patterns, and fabric cutting of optimum utilizations. In the picture, we have shown that how to unite patterns and arrange on the fabric so that maximum utilization of fabric is done and wastage is bare minimum possible. So online and field level trainings on the same were conducted by Tontuyo as well as West Bengal State Rural Lively Mission, who deals with self-help groups in the state. The training module also prepared for pattern making and ensured optimum fabric consumptions. Here, there is a glance for the requirement of uniform fabric for the year 2021 to 2022. Here, for short and salwar 247 lakh meter, shooting for pant, short and tunic 145 lakh meter, and another 40 lakh meters of shooting were indigenously prepared by the power loom weavers in the state. So this is the first or maiden venture in the state. Next, salwar, its quantum was more or less 71.45 lakh meter. Also, dupatta 71.45 lakh meter, and each dupatta was of 2 meter long. So it's in terms of pieces, it was about 35 lakh. So altogether, we had to procure 534.90 lakh meter of fabric externally and another 40 lakh meters of shooting were produced indigenously. Now, in this slide, we have shown the power loom incentive policy. This policy has been introduced in January 2022 just to encourage the power loom sector. This is objective of this policy is to extend fiscal incentive for installation of new age shuttleless power looms. Before this, in existence in West Bengal, there is only low speed power loom, which is not fit for weaving, shooting and shorting. So this new policy was introduced by the government to revamp power loom sectors. In this policy, capital incentive is given. 20% of fixed capital investment on plant and machinery for new installation of power looms like rapier type or high-speed power loom. Besides this capital incentives, other facilities are also given under this policy. Number one, assured procurement. Under this policy, an MOU is signed with Tontuja for procurement of fabrics for next 3 years. Secondly, loan facilitation, that is, new entrepreneurs can apply to state cooperative bank as well as nationalized bank to get finance for installation of new looms here. Third is hand-holding support for entrepreneurs and organizations. This hand-holding support is given by Tontuyo as well as Directorate of Textiles. This scheme is initially designed for 3 years with effect from 1st January 2022 and shall remain in force till 31st December 2024. Now, progress of power loom in the state. Here we have tried to show you that initially in January 2022, when this policy started its commencement, it was only 110 power looms. Gradually it increased to 70, then 430. Now, in September 2022, we have already covered 675 power looms in the state.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. Like you have like another 2 minutes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you can continue. Like you have another 2 minutes. Try to conclude another 2 minutes, sir.
Okay, okay. এত তাড়াতাড়ি চলে কেন? একটু আস্তে আস্তে চলুন, যখন নেক্সট বলা তাহলে
You can continue, sir.
okay.
Please continue your presentation, sir.
Okay, okay. Just let me finish. Only 2 minutes left. Okay, thank you. Here we have shown that district-wise delivery of uniform. There are 23 districts and 1 sub-divisions where we distributed this huge quantity of fabric. Now, next. Now that yes, in this implementation of project, we face challenges also determining the exact quantity of fabric required and setting a standardized scale for fabric consumption. Second challenge was durability and wearability by children. Then cost effectiveness of the state exchequer, inimitable for unauthorized purchase or sale in the open market of the fabric which are being supplied to the weavers. Next, encouraging investors and entrepreneurs for purchase of shuttleless power looms and commencement of production. Encouraging investors, entrepreneurs for setting up machinery for processing and state-owned fabric. That means this is post-loom processing system. And lastly, determining SOP for procurement, quality inspection, and timely supply of voluminous quantum of fabric to the districts. Now, how do we overcome these challenges? First of all, fabric consumption scale was determined by conducting measurement activity at the school level. Secondly, to offset the ever-rising cost of cotton cord, polyester viscose in the ratio 65:35% for the consumption of fabric for various garment items. Specification was set in such ways with predefined GSM, count of yarn, composition of yarn, color fastness, and branded selvage that it was inimitable for unauthorized use. Lastly, a detailed market survey was conducted to identify potential power loom units which could be uplifted. Lastly, logistic map patterns. Partners were selected, that means for distribution of fabric to the district through e-tenders. Next. This project value, employment generation, and future ahead. In this slide, we have shown that it was approximately 512 crore in the 2021. It has attracted potential investment about 128.96 crore. It was generated approximately 1565 direct and 1820 indirect employment on monthly basis in the case of power loom only. Besides this, 3,500 persons were employed or doing their work in the spinning mill sector of the state. It has revamped the power loom sector of the state to an unprecedented level, has revived the state-based power loom as well as round-the-year employment of self-help group, about 82,000 self-help group for making this uniform. The estimated investment in approximately rupees 270 crore for the next year. The project serves as a role model for future expansion, through which it is expected that West Bengal will emerge as a self-reliant state in terms of power loom manufactured textile in near future. Next. Okay, thank you for listening to me. Thank you, everybody.
Sir, in fact, a very credible and done job you have done. I am listening you second time. Initially, last year also you had also presented a case for when you during COVID restrictions.
Yes,
You
sir.
huge number of masks and other items. So excellent work. Sir, I just want to know that there is a technology upgradation scheme under the Ministry of Textile. So have you also utilized that scheme for upgradation of your handloom sector and power loom?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is the second time. Last time I came with the project of, PP kit manufacturing and mask manufacturing in the state. This time, yes, sir. In our handloom project, there is a project also for upgradation of loom. That's why we also distributed, pneumatic jacquard and, some booty making machine and other small intervention in the handloom sector. In the power loom sector in the state is very in the rudimentary form. This time the government has come up with this, power loom incentive scheme 2022. In this incentive scheme, our main objective is to revitalize the power loom sector, because two sectors should go side by side in the state, because some products are exclusively for handloom production and other products for power loom production, because cost of the products will be less. So the simple products that should be produced in the power loom. So this is the product, this is the scheme and the policy. And we also applied for, mega handloom cluster in our handloom dominated districts in West Bengal, and it is with the, direct DC Handloom Government of India. Already there is one silk mega project in the district of Murshidabad. So in the both sector, the government is trying to uplift the weavers of handloom sector as well as power loom sector. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, please. Thank you, please.
Sir, in your presentation, I didn't find any innovative idea, or simply what you are doing is providing subsidy to power loom and try to revive them. So what is so special so that you should be considered for award of this SKOCH award?
Yes, sir. This project has some innovative aspects also. See, prior to this project, the school used to get fund directly from the Sarva Shiksha mission. There was no standardization of uniform, and there was no, centralized or the system of monitoring or standardization. But in this new project, effective integration of scattered worker in power loom sector as well as self-help groups in the state. So integration has been aimed in this project. Secondly, to build supply system. In the state, fabric manufacturing was not there. The traders used to procure this type of fabric that was mostly polyester type from the other states, and they used to manufacture it and supply to school children. So in this effort, the state government has tried to revitalize power loom sector and to produce fabric gradually in the state and to become self-reliant in production of fabric. Thirdly, the project also aimed to generate additional livelihood opportunities. Opportunities like power loom sector, power loom weavers, and state spinning mills. Those are very sick. So revitalize it to provide them more additional generation of manpower and lastly, generation of adequate infrastructure, technology, product diversification, design development, creation of raw material banks. Lastly, self-help groups, those are the women, mainly women's self-help group. They will get livelihood or work throughout the year for production of school uniform, not only school uniform, we also contemplated to produce police uniform, fire brigade uniform, hospital uniforms and linen, so that self-help groups get livelihood and women are empowered to a great extent. So I think these are the new innovative aspects of the scheme. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Seniors and members of the SKOCH organization, thank you so much. And I'm grateful to all of you for considering us for the SKOCH award. I am Shivam Tevatia. I am a 2012 batch Dynamics officer and presently posted as Director, Higher and Technical Education, along with the additional charge of Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Animal Husbandry. So this today's presentation is about a small initiative of transfer of fertilizer subsidy to the tribal farmers of one of our districts, Dadra Nagar Haveli, through the PFMS DBT mode. Now, what is this all about? Let me give you a brief about Daman, Diu and Dadra Nagar Haveli. We are a small UT between Gujarat and Maharashtra, considering of 3 districts. First, Daman, which is the headquarter, Diu, and Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Going forward, this is the brief introduction. These were 2 UTs. Dadra Nagar Haveli was liberated in 1954 and Daman Diu in 1961. After that, they existed as two UTs, two separate union territories under Ministry of Home Affairs. And the historical merger of both the UTs took place on 26 January 2020, where the both UTs were combined into one unit. Now it's a UT of Dadra Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. As you can see, Diu is an island off the coast of Gujarat near Junagadh district. And Daman and Dadra Nagar Haveli is between Gujarat and Maharashtra. And between Surat and Bombay Highway on the right, we have the Dadra Nagar Haveli. On the left, on the coastal side, we have Daman district. So total, we have three districts. Some basic figures about our small UT. DNH, Dadra Nagar Haveli, is the biggest district, which is 491 square kilometers of area, approximately 4 lakh population, which comprises of 52 to 55% of tribal population. Tribal population is basically Warli, Konkana, and Dhodni. And this is, and where this scheme, we implemented. So what used to happen, just to give you a historic perspective, that we have not come across anywhere where the fertilizer subsidy is being directly transferred to the farmers. Now, what happens is that Government of India has directly transfers the subsidy to the fertilizer companies. The mode of transfer of subsidy is something like this, that, the fertilizer subsidy wing of Department of Chemicals and Fertilizers, they deal with the disbursement of subsidy in respect of urea and other fertilizers. So what is the process is that whenever, a company manufactures the the fertilizers and gives it to the farmers, based upon that sale and the cost of production, the balance is being provided by the Government of India directly into for the companies. So the farmers buy fertilizers at MRP below their normal supply price and as per the market rates. And in essence, the difference in the the price is being provided as fertilizer subsidy to the companies. So what is that we did it innovatively, or we thought that we could do. So sir, there was a UT run scheme from 1978. So that scheme was that the department will provide extra subsidy over and top of what Government of India provides to the farmers. So fertilizer subsidy to the tune of 40%. So whatever is available, what we get from the fertilizer companies, we, further we top it up 40% and then give it to the farmers, to our tribal farmers. So this scheme was running. So the process of the scheme was that the Department of Agriculture, through its Gram Sevaks and through 20 panchayats, used to get the demand from the farmers, that you fill up the forms that tell us the demand of fertilizers, and we intend, scrutinize the application forms based on, we had very rudimentary norms on how to scrutinize the applications, and get that total demand and provide the total demand to GSFC, which is Gujarat State Fertilizer Corporation, get the fertilizer from the company, give a 40% discount, and give it to the farmers in kind. So there are basically two types of fertilizers which were in use in Dadra Nagar Haveli. One is urea, and the other was DAP, diammonium phosphate. And these are basically very popular fertilizers. And the type of agriculture which is practiced is subsistence farming and the tribals of Dadra Nagar Haveli practice subsistence agriculture and growing only one time. Only in the monsoon period, they mostly 90% they grow paddy, and some of the farmers they grow jowar. So our process was that we used to take up applications by farmers for getting subsidy, and let me tell you how the applications were scrutinized by the Agriculture Department. For 1 hectare of land, we used to give the sanction norms were 4 kg. 4 bags of urea, which is 45 kg a bag, which is equivalent to 180 kilograms of urea. And for DAP, it was half. It was only 2 bags of 50 kg each. So what did the department or what did the UT administration thought that, why we should go in for DBT of this fertilizer subsidy is that, sir. So we were getting, sir, ground reports that, this fertilizer which we used to supply, sir, this was getting diverted. I can share an example, and this has a very economical angle to it, that urea is costing only 266 rupees for 45 kg a bag. But the diammonium phosphate DAP is 1350, 1350 rupees a bag. And if we are providing 40% subsidy in the diammonium phosphate DAP fertilizer, approximately 540 rupees was the subsidy amount per bag. So, and that was getting diverted, and we were getting reports that that was sold in the market. So that was substantial amount of money. So under the able leadership of our honorable administrator, we got directions that we need to provide the subsidy, and we should go in for DBT mode, and not the DBT through the where the other schemes of Government of India are running through that DBT mode, which is the PFMS, Public Financial Management System DBT mode, where the beneficiaries the applications are authenticated through Aadhaar mode, and so that it leads to deduplication and no fake beneficiaries are provided the benefit. So going forward, sir, this is so the challenge before us was that we got the directions in May, and at the end of May, June, monsoons hit our coasts. So, and when the monsoons hit, that's when the sowing season starts. And as you know, sir, DAP is a basal fertilizer, so you need to prepare the soil for it, and DAP is applied directly before sowing, so that and at the time of sowing also. So the challenge before us was that we had to take these applications in a digital mode and get the applications scrutinized. After applications, we had to upload the data on PFMS portal, get the data authenticated, and transfer the money in the time period so that the farmers can buy directly from the market. And GSFC has a store in Silvassa, Dadra Nagar Haveli, so that the farmers can procure directly, and the subsidy amount is directly transferred to their bank accounts. So this was this is the fertilizer data that I want to show it to you, and I'll show you the portal also which we developed. And we got the immense support from our NIC team, which developed the portal, the digital portal, in approximately 5 days. So this was an immense feat by NIC, and which we I explained to them the scheme functions, the scheme norms, the objectives, and in 5 days they developed it. And then I had to go for the training of my field staff, and I told them that this is a simple scheme of 1978, so not a detailed algorithm is required, but whatever algorithms were required, I provided to the NIC team and also trained my field staff. So, sir, this was the total demand of this year. As you can see, sir, neem coated urea is approximately for this year was 198 metric ton. And this is the price of per metric ton. So approximately for 45 kgs, it comes to 266, 267 rupees. And DAP was 202 metric ton. Sir, if I show you that there is some data inconsistency, which our secretary sir identified, that if neem coated urea is required 4 bags per hectare, so the demand of DAP should not be equal. As you can see, that the demand is approximately equal, but it should come as half, because DAP requirement is actually only 2 bags. So this, we thought that why is that the demand is coming like this? So there must be, why are the people demanding more DAP than urea? Because of the price difference. So this, Secretary sir and I were, we were sitting, and Shivam, going by your logic, if 4 bags of urea required, so DAP should be half the demand. It should be around 100 metric tons. So tell me the price difference. I told them, sir, it's 266 rupees and 1350 rupees in the market. So that's the reason 540 rupees is subsidy, and only 106 rupees is subsidy in the neem coated urea. So this we explained, and we got explicit directions. Shivam, there's something that we need to do, and we'll transfer this amount directly to their bank account of the beneficiaries. So, sir, I mean, everybody knows, sir, the benefit of DBT mode, that we get accurate targeting of beneficiaries. But the main objective of our initiative was, sir, that the pilferage was we had to target. And because of the time period of the sowing period of the Kharif season, we had to transfer it immediately. Because this whole process of, sir, we getting the demand, scrutinizing the application, placing our request to GSFC, then supplying the fertilizer, then transferring it to 20 panchayats, sir, it's approximately 1.5 months to 2 months period. So, but this DBT, only we had to face the challenge of, after uploading of the applications in the PFMS, there was a technical error of 7 days. So we had to speak to Delhi to clarify, to get it rectified. But after that, we were able to transfer in 2 days. That's what was our experience. And this is how we did, sir. So we created a tech platform, and there was a lot of pressure on NIC that you need to develop within a certain period of time. So they developed it. We sat through. We told them what is the process of the applications. So I would like to show you, sir. This is the tech platform FSIMS NIC demo. I'll show it to you, sir. Just give me a minute, sir. So this was the, sir, fertilizer stock information management system. And this is, if you can see, sir, this is the application number, the farmer details, the gram panchayat, village details, total area in hectares, and urea and DAP details, sir. So if I choose a panchayat, sir, these are the panchayats, sir, which are of Dadra Nagar Haveli. And if I select any, let's say this is the northernmost Randha. So this is the application that we took, sir. This is the farmer details and the gram panchayat. And sir, very interesting fact about it, sir, our land records are digitized. It has been, I was deputy collector in Dadra Nagar Haveli also in 15 to 17. And so our land records still that, in 17 only we had got it digitized, and resurvey has been done. Each and every parcel of land in Dadra Nagar Haveli has a survey number, even rivers, even river banks, everything we have resurveyed through drone technology, and it is available online. So as you can see, sir, if we see, sir, the example of Manchu Bhai Dhakai Bhai Bhavar, so his survey number, he has 5 survey numbers, and this is the total area, and this is the Kharif season. So he is approximately, sir, 2 hectares. So you can see urea is required, what his demand is 4, and what we green is what we have sanctioned 4 bags of 180 kgs.
So sorry to interrupt you, like you have another 2 minutes.
Right. So this is how we have approved, and this kind of a small software that we have developed, and based on this report, sir, we have uploaded our beneficiaries list on the PFMS portal, sir, and after that we have transferred the subsidy amount into the beneficiaries bank account. So the key challenges that we have faced, sir, it's basically the creation of the tech platform in the required amount of time, the training, and there was a technical error which took approximately, sir, 7 to 8 days for the Delhi people to reform, sir. So this was, sir, I like to share some data also, which we came across. Sir, total applications we received 2043, but even after that, we found that duplicate applications we were able to, even after 3 to 4 times the scrutiny manually, even after that, when digitally it was scrutinized by PFMS, 25 applications were duplicate, and 23 farmers we found that they applied for urea fertilizer, but they did not apply for DAP fertilizer subsidy. So these are the 3 processes, sir, and this is the total amount we had transferred, sir. This is only phase 1 that we did it in approximately 1 month of time, the entire process. And our phase 2, sir, what is our objective, what is our vision is, sir, if we can develop it, if we can revise this 1978 scheme, and for the urea as well as DAP fertilizer subsidy based on our robust land record system and PFMS authentication, we will be able to provide subsidy on a regular basis to the farmers, to the tribal farmers of Dadra and Nagar Haveli, sir. This scheme is not applicable, sir, to Daman Diu, because historically this scheme was only implemented in 1978. So we are in the process of revising this scheme. And as you know, sir, this is directly, the innovative part is that we are directly providing the subsidy into the farmer's bank account, sir. And as Government of India gives the subsidy, because it has also its objective to transfer it to because beneficiaries, the farmers should get the subsidy, sir. So this is, and I would like to conclude, sir, this is our small initiative, and we are in the process of revising this scheme. And what we intend to do is, sir, because our land records are digitized, so we'll have a 2-step authentication. One, the eligibility as per land records that he is a genuine farmer, and the second, through Aadhaar base, that the identity of the beneficiary is authenticated, sir, so that we don't get any fake beneficiaries, sir. I would like to thank you, jury members, for giving me sufficient time, giving the UT of Dadra Nagar Haveli an opportunity to share its experience with you. Thank you so much, sir. This is from my side.
Thank you, Shivam sir. In fact, very good initiative. But can you just tell us what was the picture earlier? How much diversion of funds were taking earlier and after implementing PFMS-based DBT? How much you have saved? What is the quantum of amount?
Sir, as I told you, sir, I'll be very honest with you, sir. We were getting, sir, reports that some amount of it, let's say, of the DAP fertilizer that we used to supply in bags were getting diverted. We have not quantified it, sir. But if you say out of 2043 farmers, what should be the number? It will be approximately about, sir, 10%, 10 to 15%, sir. I can say, sir. We were getting reports of that the ground level functionaries and the other people were there was diversion which was taking place of DAP fertilizer, and you can see the numbers, sir. The numbers speak of themselves, sir. If we are getting the demand, so we should have got the half the demand, not that DAP fertilizers demand is more than the urea demand, sir. I mean, that was the trigger point, sir. I mean, it was basic maths that Secretary sir chose, that if the requirement is half, how can the demand be equivalent to the urea fertilizer, sir?
In fact, DAP is used only when sowing the crop. It
Sowing
is
the
not.
crop,
It
sir.
has no role after that. After
No
that,
role after
only
that.
urea is used.
It's a basal fertilizer, sir. And we had to, sir, that was a challenge, because urea it's applied 3 times during the growth of the plant stem. Urea can be applied 3 times. But because we had that little time window of May to June, we had to develop this software and upload it on the PFMS portal, and plus minus the duplicate applications, and also get the approval of subsidy, through our approval channel, that we have to transfer the subsidy through the DBT mode. And sir, I have never come across, because Secretary sir is also 2015 IAS officer. He also asked, in various states, that are you transferring the subsidy directly into the bank account of the farmers? Because subsidy is transferred to the fertilizer companies, sir, based on their sale.
In fact, now I got the idea. That is why we are in the northern India. We are generally hear that there is a shortage of DAP. In every sowing season, we hear that there is a shortage of DAP. That is why this cost differential is making this issue. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, really, you have done your homework. First of all, that calculation which you had told us is really required by not only by you, by every state. I will suggest you to give this presentation to all states.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And in coordination with your ministry and Niti Aayog.
Sir, I was, before this posting, sir, I was additional PS to Vice Chairman Niti Aayog, sir. 3 years.
Okay.
I was additional PS to Dr. Rajiv Kumar, sir.
Okay. I also took voluntary retirement 3 years back. I was advisor under chief.
Sir, so I was there in Government of India, and before that I was in Daman only. I was Deputy Collector of Dadra Nagar Haveli, and now I've got the charge of Higher and Technical. And sir, this scheme was over the years, because it's only one time during the year. When we were sitting with the numbers, and Secretary sir, just it triggered to him that Shivam, why only tell me one thing, if only 2 bags are required per hectare,
right,
4 bags are required for urea, the demand of DAP should be half
right
of that urea. How can it be more than that? Tell me the cost.
Right.
Well, sir, it's 4 times the cost. The DAP cost, it's 4 times, because urea is a highly subsidized fertilizer.
Right, I fully agree that with the help of simple mathematics, we can avoid pilferages.
Sir. And GSFC has its store in Silvassa, and DAP was available. So we transferred this amount based on the demand and the sanctioned the norms of the scheme. And we transferred, and it took us, sir, approximately training and getting the applications on board and creating the tech platform. It took us about a month, so we were able to transfer it to the. But sir, this time I'm sure that I'm going to be linking this with the land records.
Right. Good. Very good.
Link this. If a farmer applies, he applies it based upon its land record and Aadhaar card. These are the only 2 things I need. He's a farmer, and the identity is verified, and the demand for that, the algorithm runs, and we transfer the subsidy directly. Sir.
Excellent. And I will suggest you to take an opportunity, since you have worked in Niti Aayog with the Deputy Chairman.
Sir.
So at least try to propagate your ideas and so that other states also get benefit out of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
the best to you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Mohit, are you there? Everybody, just wait. Mohit will come and will proceed with further.
Let me call him. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Audible, sir.
I am Anjani Kumar Singh, and I thank committee for considering Bihar Museum for SKOCH Award. The first question that arises is why Bihar Museum? Why to make an international level museum in Bihar? So the concept was Bihar has, you all are aware that Bihar has a very rich history and heritage. In fact, during the period of Mauryas and Nandas, Patliputra was capital of India. That time India was bigger than what it is today. So the first reason was we wanted to showcase our heritage and glory. And then the second aspect that was very important was that in post-independent period, in fact, no international standard museum could come in India. So whenever we used to visit other countries and other museums, they also wanted to share their culture, their history, and they wanted to bring exhibition to India. But they will always raise a question where you have infrastructure, world-class infrastructure, where we can bring exhibitions, we can show things. So that was to fill the gap of modern and world-class museum in India. So that was the second reason. And third, we wanted our future generation, young people, to know about our history and culture. And so museum is the right way of doing it, so that our coming generation will know what Bihar was, what India was. And we also wanted to, because Bihar, seeing the culture, our route of development is soft route of development, because after bifurcation of Jharkhand, Bihar doesn't have mineral or industries, those type of things. So we thought that our road of development will be through education, agriculture, tourism, our art and culture. So that is the route that Bihar has taken. And for that, it was very important to create museums. So Bihar Museum was one international level museum, but it's not only one museum that came in Bihar. We also created a Ashoka Convention Complex that is on the river of Ganges. That's a beautiful location with a 5,000 capacity convention center and a Gyan Bhavan with lot many different capacity where you can do meetings of 300 people, 500 people, 800 people. So at one convention complex, you can accommodate 10,000 people and arrange variety of activities in parallel. We also created a food court. So something like the way you think at international level, where you have international film festival, art culture festival, so where you can do world class or world or international events. And the Bihar, besides Bihar Museum, we are also doing a museum on Buddha in Vaisali, where Buddha's ashes were found. Another museum that is coming up is a science museum that is in Patna, a museum on Bapu, Mahatma Gandhi, and one museum in Nalanda. So we are developing and we want to create Bihar as a hub for museums. When we started this plan, there were many challenges. The most important challenge was we didn't have a concept consultant agency in India who can bring best practices from the world and we can create a world-class museum. Then next question was to get a celebrated architect on board so that the museum that we create is really world-class. The next problem was getting fabricators of world standard. So our concept consultant was Lord Cultural Resources from Canada. Architect was from Japan, Maki and Associate, and we could get fabricators from Singapore. Next, some more challenges were getting vendors for things like showcases, lighting system, audio-visual interactive system, projections, etc. And the most important was getting a centrally located land because we needed something like 10, 15 acres of land. And that government decided it has to be in the center of Patna. So the present location where Bihar Museum has been created. So we had ministers' bungalow, 5 ministers' bungalow, and a building of university in this location. So those things were shifted, and a space was created for making Bihar Museum. This was a big project, and government thought that there should be continuity in leadership. So a nodal officer was appointed who continued right from the beginning till today. Branding and communication, those agencies were also, we wanted to brand our museum, Bihar Museum as a very good museum from India, internationally also. So we needed a agency for branding and communication. And lastly, the challenge was how to maintain and keep it running. Because museums now are not, storehouses of sculptures or paintings. Museums are, as on today, they are art and culture centers. Museums are activities because why people will come again and again? They will come only when we are able to do a variety of activities and see art and culture in a broader sense. So it is not only a visual experience here. We don't have only visual art. We also do music. We also do poetry. We also do literature. And we also do folk dances, folk songs, etc. So you have large number of activities lined up. And because of this, people are coming to our museum. So Bihar Museum today has developed as a experiential museum where our focus is on experience. We want people to come to our museum and be happy, seeing things, seeing activities, interacting with art, interacting with people, interacting and doing variety of activities. So the focus is experience. It's not only, and then another focus is, and that's why we have taken a storytelling style. It is, if you go to our museum, you see our timeline, then you will know you are right now in the Mauryan period. Now we are shifting to how Kalinga, what took place, how Ashoka converted and became pioneer for Buddhism, how Buddhism is spread. So all that is in a storytelling form. So that is very helpful to our visitors and people appreciate a lot because they are able to understand the story seeing our artifacts. And another aspect was to make it a community museum. So we have variety of activities where we engage our students from art and craft college. The youth come, children come, and Bihar population is very young population. More than 50% of people are below 25. So one section is completely devoted to children, and that is children's section. It's highly interactive. And here the idea is we encourage people to touch, feel, explore. There is nothing like nothing, don't do or don't touch. We have nothing like that in our children's section. And that has become very popular with children. Museum now will have to, most of the places they are doing it. Now they have to do the academic part also. So we have started 2 courses, one on art appreciation and other is on archaeology. And we had a very good response from different states. One very good thing that has happened because of Bihar Museum is now there is pressure in different states to create a museum like Bihar Museum. So we are getting people from different states and different agencies, even from our neighboring countries. Like today we have a team from Nepal who are here, people from Bangladesh came. So there is a pressure. Bihar Museum has become a role model and and an environment has been created, and we are saying that children, if we are able to engage community, specifically children, then a conducive environment for art and culture will be created, and that is our motto. Some facts, like it is spread on 25,000 square meters, and we have primarily it's a history museum. We have 5 galleries relating to history, but we also wanted to put other things with history. So we have a section on regional art. We have a gallery on regional art. Our Bihar diaspora is very important. There is a gallery on Bihar diaspora, because diaspora in Bihar is very important. People from Bihar went to Fiji, Mauritius, Suriname, French Guiana, and created those states, and they have played a very active, important role in those countries. So that diaspora we are able to show in our diaspora section. Then there is a gallery for contemporary art, and we have a huge space for bringing contemporary art or historical exhibitions. This slide will show you some of our collection. Yakshi is very important. Yakshi is known all over the world. Then we have beautiful terracotta from Maurya and Pala period, and we have very good collection of coins also. You can see this lady of Maurya period. You can see the headgear and the decoration. So during those times, we had headgears like this. And we have many figurines where you can see beautiful dresses, beautiful, decorations. And there is a lot of research on these figurines. And we had plenty of that, and we have a good collection of these figurines, which goes to which has gone to different exhibitions outside India also. Children's section, children's section is highly interactive. This is our Goraya, that is our state bird. And then there is like if it's interactive, I'll give you one example. Like there is a chair, and that is chair of Chandragupta Maurya. So that's a beautiful selfie place. Everybody who goes to children's section gets himself photographed. And Bihar Museum has got most of the recognitions. It has got Best Building Award. It has got Graha Award. It has got Sima Art Award. It has got India Art Award. It has got Art Award from Germany for museum identity, and it has also got awards for very creative branding. So in brief, this is what Bihar Museum is. And Bihar Museum has become very important for Bihar because it is able to play a very catalytic role in development. Thank you.
Jury members.
Sir, very good initiative. In fact, Bihar has a rich culture, history, and this initiative is really in need of the hour. You have also mentioned in your presentation, sir, about 5,000 capacity this
Auditorium.
convention center. Where it is located, in fact?
It is located on the river of Ganges. So there is a complex. It has main building is convention center, that is 5,000 capacity, a proper auditorium. Then we have another building in same campus, which is called Gyan Bhavan. It has four floors, and we have different size auditoriums in different floors. So this is designed for bringing international events where you can do many exhibitions at a time. You can do many meetings at a time. You can make many presentations at a time. And there is a food court also, which can cater food for people participating there. It is on the bank of Ganges.
It is, I hope, is it operational, sir?
Very operational.
Okay. Because there is a shortage of such capacity, huge capacity convention centers in the country. Even in Delhi, very few convention centers of this capacity exist. Thank you, sir. Excellent work, sir.
Thanks.
So it's a very novel idea. But what you are doing to attract foreign tourists?
The number of foreign tourists is increasing. What was happening earlier was Bihar was mainly known for religious tourism. So all Buddhists will come to Bodh Gaya, very important for them. So they will come to Bodh Gaya and Rajgir. Sikhs will come to Patna because of Guru Gobind Singh. Jains will come because of Pavapuri. So we had an added advantage. Now we wanted this traffic to come to Bihar Museum. And we are becoming successful in getting, already they are coming. So we are getting these people to come to Bihar Museum. Our problem was, they were coming to Bihar, but they were not staying for a couple of days, couple of nights. So, in the rural, in our economy, they were not adding. So now because of Gaya, both Gaya, Rajgir, Patna, Vaisali. So if you develop like a hub, then they can come and they have activities for 3-4 days. So that traffic is coming to us. And secondly, because India, anybody art-related organization like a museum from different country or different institutions, if they are coming to India, they will have to come to Bihar Museum because we have that type of infrastructure. Because now if you want to get international exhibition, you'll first come and see the space, the type of lighting you have, the air conditioning you have, security you have,
Sir,
and we are
sir,
able to meet that.
I got that. Somebody visiting from Canada to India. So how he knows about your museum?
That's why we have spent a lot on branding. So branding, and last year we organized a museum Binale in which 10 countries participated.
So that is a different thing. I'm just asking you, a general person, a normal human being, how he would know that some activity or some great museum is there in Bihar, and he will plan accordingly so that he will visit. Like if I'm giving an example, if I go to UK, then I am most likely going to visit London Museum. Okay, because it is very unique and it is world famous. So how you are going to make your museum world famous so that the foreign tourists are attracted towards your museum? Is something is being done on that front?
That I was explaining, like, we have started doing museum Binale, and that first edition was 21. We'll do a 23 again. So we are inviting important museums and institutions related to art in those Binales. And then almost all art magazines and newspapers in India and abroad have written about Bihar Museum. We are very much on social media. So whatever activity we do, because of that, we have agency for branding and communication. So that is, they spread it out. And I'm very happy in the way things are shaping. Of course, in one day, suddenly everybody will not come. It will take time. And I was telling you, our strategy is to, by doing those type of activities in which you have international participation, but I also, focus on national participation. Not only because earlier we are not knowing about the museums of India. There is no platform, one platform where all Indian museums have come and shared their history, heritage, collections. So that platform we have developed, and all Indian museums came to this platform. Slowly things are building up. Then we have publications, social media. These things are important things that we are doing.
Thank you. Good
Thank
effort.
you. Thank you.